Welcome back to 100 Days of Logic with 90-second philosophy and Carneades.org. Today we are going to be finishing up our series of videos on categorical logic and categorical syllogisms with rule number 5. After this, we are going to be entering into our last 10 days of the 100 Days of Logic. Those are going to be videos on predicate calculus. We'll get to those in a second, but for now, rule number 5. Rule 5 is going to be, if both premises are universal, the conclusion cannot be particular. It's important to note that this is only going to be a rule for Boole, because all this is doing is separating those syllogisms that are unconditionally valid from those syllogisms that are conditionally valid. Basically, for Boole, a syllogism is going to be valid if and only if it obeys all 5 of the rules. Whereas for Aristotle, a syllogism is going to be valid if and only if it obeys the first 4 rules and the critical term exists. Well, what's the critical term? Let's see. So the critical term is going to be the term that is superfluously distributed. Whenever you have a syllogism that's going to be valid for Aristotle but not for Boole, there's going to be one of the terms that is superfluously distributed. It's going to be distributed one more time than it needs to be to obey rules 1 and 2. Let's take a look. If we had the syllogism all M are P, all S are M, therefore some S are P, S is going to be our critical term. Why? Well, Rule 1 tells us that the middle term needs to be distributed at least once. It is, in M. Rule 2 tells us that any term that's distributed in the conclusion needs to be distributed in the premises. Well, nothing is distributed in the conclusion, so S being distributed in the premise is going to be superfluous. So if S exists, it's going to be valid for Aristotle. Similarly, no M are P, all M are S, therefore some S are not P. M is going to be the critical term because Rule 1 tells us that the middle term needs to be distributed, but it only needs to be distributed once. P is distributed in the premises, but it's also distributed in the conclusion. It has to be to follow Rule 2. So if M exists, that's going to be valid for Aristotle. That was rule number 5. Like I said, next up we're going to be taking a look at predicate calculus. Watch a new video every single day for 100 days here at Carneades.org, and stay skeptical, everybody.